as fucked up as you are. It's like the blind leading the blind.
Smitty. Why is there so much pain in the world? So much cruelty. Can you tell me that, Smitty?
My name is not Smitty.
You have a choice. Throw a caution to the wind and your ankles in the air. Or if you've ever listened to anything you've ever said, you'll tell the man adios. So this is what it feels like to be right. I like it.
Hello, everyone. We are back. But this time we're doing things a little bit differently. Now, let me just start by welcoming you all to the kickoff episode of Chit Chatting with Molly Claire Goddard. Now, I'm a little stiff. It's been a moment since I've been on a mic. You know, I used to have my podcast, Thoughts for Thoughts, and that was really fun. Find it. It's on Spotify. I should, but definitely did not delete it from the ethers of the internet. So enjoy. Guys, this is a new chapter. Today, on the day that this episode goes live, I am turning 30. 30, baby. Yeah. You know what? I have to say, I was born to be 30. I really was. This is the ushering in of a very, I would say prime time for me. I think that, well, let's just get into what this podcast is going to be before I go into, me. I feel like my last podcast was really, how shall we say this, all over the place. Maybe not exactly on, any sort of one-line trajectory. It was really, let's get on a mic and be a mess. No, I mean, actually, no, not a total mess, but this podcast, I feel like is gonna definitely have more substance to it. I'm doing my best to. I know people say you should do the opposite, but actually, I'm trying to take myself a little bit more seriously in my 30s. So I feel like this podcast is going to be a little bit more like a diary. Not literally, but I feel like, the last year of my 20s was definitely a year of change, a year of learning, a year of going, oh, gotta fix that. And also kind of like a year of realizing that things needed to be released that I was hanging on to. People, things, feelings. Um, so, I feel like I feel like we're going to do a really good mix of, issues that I feel like everybody I know is going through. Um, Listen, I sit with you all at lunches, dinners, cocktail hours. I know that it is it's rough out here. And, the best thing I feel to do is to always connect with people on things that, we're struggling with. Or even, I mean, the best way to connect in my book is like the shit that we can laugh at. Um, so I think that this podcast, a large part of this podcast, is going to be dedicated to that and kind of, answering questions we all want answered. When really, I mean, the sad truth is sometimes it's like there is no answer. But hey, we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat about it. But of course, I mean, it's me. Another big part of this podcast is gonna be, you know, the pop culture shit that I love, theater. I've really, I've really dove back in. I feel like, what people say about connecting with your younger self. I feel like in the last year, which I hate to say it, but was definitely my Saturn return. Um, I I got back to what little Molly always wanted and kind of what she loved. Um, I know that's like the most cliche kind of thing, but it is really true. So we're gonna talk about that. We'll talk about, I really want to continue kind of being thorough and like, I used to love when I would do like deep dives on thoughts for thoughts, but I feel like back then I wasn't super well researched. So I think with this one, I think we're really gonna, I want to be able to have people sit there and have uh, me take you all, through the things that I'm obsessed with. Because I have so much like useless knowledge up here. And, if I can entertain you while you're sitting in traffic, while you are at the gym, while you're on a walk with this useless information, I feel like that's going to be fabulous. Also, I feel like a really new, well, I guess not new. I guess we had guests on Thoughts for Thoughts. But I feel like I really am excited to chat with a multitude of different people. I mean, we could have anybody. Um, I really want to talk to not just, I know people think, I mostly talk to housewives, which they are great and they're amazing and they're the most interesting women who don't just cause chaos on TV. So definitely some of them. But then, authors, business people I admire, just people in general who I admire. Um, so I think it'll be a mix of that, which will be really cool. I'm excited about. Um, but let's dive right in. Um, so I've kind of hinted at it, but you know, turning 30 today when this episode goes live. Ooh, girl, we are rusty. Mm. Um, and you know, some of you know me. I mean, the last year has been, I wouldn't call it a banner year, and that's okay. Not every year needs to be the greatest year ever. And um, I have dealt with, the loss of some really long-standing friendships, which I feel like is something that is not spoken about enough. Um, and when it is spoken about, I feel like there is such a negative connotation to it. And I'm really um, trying to rid myself of the shame of losing a couple friends. Because I feel like you always hear, um, that trope that's like, oh, well, if you don't have any friends from when you were growing up, like, that says a lot about you, or I don't trust those kinds of people. And I do see that side. I get it. But I feel like I personally have had to deal with things that really scare me, like people not liking me, and especially like people who I was once super close with not liking me. That has been like the stuff of nightmares that I've had to really, tackle head on and confront. But, um, you know, I think, I really do think the biggest thing is that if you, and I say this with so many friends who I've had for still for a long time, and I hope to be close with them forever. But I think that we have to honestly honor the fact that we are always changing. this is something that I'm really glad I've learned in my 20s. And I don't think I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I really don't think I've clung on to anything. I'm really trying to not bring anything from my 20s that's not have you ever heard Oprah say like sometimes you do things that you feel like you're betraying yourself? There were things with friends where I felt like I was betraying myself because they were living different lives than me. Now, that is super important to be friends with people who live different lives than you. But I always felt like I had to keep myself a little bit smaller. Um, and it wasn't anything of their doing. Sometimes it's like it's not the way those kinds of people are acting. And you don't have to have any animosity toward them and be like, fuck them. Blah, blah, blah. It's literally not that at all. It's like sometimes, you know, when you move into new phases of your life and you make certain decisions and you believe certain things, it's important to like keep energy around you that matches that, and I think like if you have the same people around you forever, you're not evolving, you're not growing, you're not seeing the world through new people's eyes, which I feel like is a really big lesson that I've learned and I want to kind of continue to learn. um so yeah, and it's so important to stand in what you believe. And I feel like I get very, you know, worried sometimes about, um, because in life, I mean, we have to compromise for people, whether it be friendships, relationships, compromise is a part of life. But sometimes, especially in the day and age that we live, I'm so like freaked out that we're losing our sense of conviction and our sense of like this is what I believe and I want this for myself despite, whatever. Um and I when people come up against that, um it's important that you create boundaries, even if those boundaries are like, okay, I gotta back away from this friendship. And I think the important thing is sometimes things happen and you go, oh shit, like what the fuck should I have reacted that way? Should I have, and you have this like deep regret. Um, if you kind of, as time goes by, I don't know, in my situations, I go, and I'm not religious by any means, but I oddly feel like people were taken out of my life for reasons and for my safety. Um, I feel like I cleared the decks before I turned 30, which is crazy. Like all the things that weren't working, I do feel like have figured themselves out or have evolved or have changed. So yeah, I think it's really important to talk about because and to also too, if you can, because sometimes you can't, sometimes you do hold animosity toward people who you feel like have done you wrong or who you feel like treated you a certain way. um I think in my case is, sorry, it's true. um I I don't think any of the people I let go are, I think they're good people and I think they just weren't fitting into my life anymore. Um, and I'm not holding on to, um, despite, you know, years, we're talking years. These were like decades long friendships, some of them. And I do not I feel like I don't hold any animosity toward them at all, and they are good people. They are just not good in my life. Because you gotta wake up every day, and we only have so many hours in a day. We only have so many days on Earth, and it's like you gotta be in a position where you feel you're most confident, you're most comfortable, where you can. Um, because it doesn't happen often. Life is kind of all about making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel, you know, like you got to jump from lily pad to lily pad. And if your friends are making you feel like, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Now, my exit strategies were not great. So I, don't listen to me on that. I'm not going to sit here and go, so if you want to distance yourself, because I don't, that was not my way. But anyway, okay. From the heavy to the light. Well, actually, it's this. I would not consider this to be light because now I don't think I have felt an entity, a show, a piece of entertainment with as much Cancerian water emotional energy as one of the most incredible pieces of art I've seen in my 30 years. Sunset Boulevard, Jamie Lloyd's Tony Olivier award winning revival closes today. Oh, and I could cry. I could cry. It has been my obsession since oh, okay, I can pinpoint. I was on the train, doing my back and forth, Boston and New York, you know, and the live recording came out. And, I feel like I had heard about what was going on over in London, but you know what's so crazy about when a show opens on the West End? I feel like now it's a little different. Like all the Rachel Ziegler stuff with Evita, we're kind of seeing that. But the Broadway hype versus the West End hype is so different. It's just, I feel like people heard about it. They heard she was good, but it wasn't, you know. I listened to that recording and I just said, wow, okay. And first of all, I didn't expect that out of, you know, Miss Pussycat Dolls herself, Nicole Scherzinger. That was listening to With One Look for the first time sent me over the edge because I was like, this is different. Now, the greatest thing, and it's so exciting because we are at the starting line for this talented, delicious, incredible, just entity, Tom Francis. I mean, theater. I would like to thank Jamie Lloyd's Sunset Boulevard for making theater sexy again, okay? Because, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Musical theater, I need it to get sexier. I need it to get more stylistic. Um, you know, it's a cause that's important to me. Um, we just need things sexier, okay? Less cheesy. Um, if you know my taste in this art form, I need blood, I need death, I need darkness. I'm not here for the 42nd Streets, the hairspray with Zac Efron, obviously, but not. I mean, like, I'm not this. Okay. Um, yeah. So Sunset closes on today, July 20th. We've said goodbye to David Thaxton, that other, incredible hunk of UK talent. We've said goodbye to Tom. We've said goodbye to the lovely Grace Hodgett Young. And now the show will be closing. I've seen it 3 times. 3 times. And I just feel And also, let it be known, I won a very, very long running bet that, because this Tony season was great. We had Audra, we had Nicole, we had drama, we had scandal. Um, everyone was so talented. We had the boops. Um, we had Death Becomes Her. I still gotta go check that out. I still gotta go check out Audra and Gypsy too. Um, but I did when I did say in November this, that little Tony was hers despite the odds. Um, but this production just reinvigorated what I loved about theater and what it can be. And I know people are so I love how divisive the production was in a sense of like you either loved it or you were like, not for me, not at all. Or you said you didn't like it at first, and then you came back and you said, oh, wait a minute. I think this might be for me. Um, yeah, and I'm so excited to see what other productions can be because I just think like, so many, especially revivals, it's like I can't, how many times can I see Hello Dolly? I get it. I get it. It's about the, approach to the art form. And I'm so, so excited to see Evita. I'm so excited to see, although, you know, what's going on? Is Masquerade gonna run the Phantom, the immersive Phantom? Y'all, that's gonna be hold on. Let me take a sip. That is gonna be that's gonna be a funny night out. My God, immersive Phantom. What are we gonna be in the lair? Or I heard that they were I okay. I heard that they were like you're gonna be up on the rooftop on 57th Street. That okay. That'll be that's gonna be fun. So yeah. But it's just yeah, I'm just so sad to see this production close, but I'm kind of glad that it is not running past this because I do think it's like it would lose its magic if we just kept throwing different people in there and throwing different divas into, the role of Norma Desmond or I'm sorry, nobody can replace Tom Francis. Um, so yeah, also, this is how, don't I should not learn how to use TikTok, okay? Because as you all know, I mean, I definitely suffer from hyperfixation. I mean, come on, you've all seen my Instagram. Let's get real. Um, but the other night, I was so tired. I was like that kind of tired where you're looking like, and you're in bed. You're in bed and you're like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. But then an idea pops into your head that is really only funny to you. But yet you tell yourself, oh, let me execute this. So here I go. I go to TikTok and I start making a compilation of all of Tom's top of Act Two walks. Like when he walked outside the theater, him in the rain, him in the snow, him with his little wife beater on when it got hot. Like, and I was like, oh my God, I need to set this to 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. Everybody gonna love this. What now? Do I still think it's hilarious? Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, um, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the TikTok algorithm because I'm like, why isn't anybody seeing this? It's I'm blaming it on the algorithm. Maybe it's just not funny. I mean, I don't believe that. but it's not hitting. And then, do you all know you have to? This is the most disgusting thing. You have to pay. You pay like $10 to promote a TikTok that you make, and then it like I, even in this corrupt world that we live in, I'm still always shocked when I'm like, oh, this is not organic at all. Anyway, just saying. Um, so yeah, I'm just so fun. It was such a amazing. I just hope we get more stylistic shows that are so chic, like the all black. They just. Oh, also too. Let me just point out, Nicole, Jamie Lloyd. I see y'all because I began wearing black slip dresses eons ago, eons ago. And now every time that because it's my travel outfit, every time I'm on the train, every time I'm at the airport, I'm one blood throw away from a full Norma Desmond. And in fact, the last time I was at the St. James, me and my best friend Bradley, um, did show up. I was in my black slip, and he black pants and a white tank top. So that was, em- you know, embarrassing, wild. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, ode to Sunset Boulevard. It's been so fun. I love the TikToks. I loved the music. It's such a good story. Nothing resonates me with me like, a like a has been movie star going crazy and, fucking a younger man. That resonates. That story is, that it will go on. It will go on. Um, so anyway, happy closing Sunset Boulevard. I hope we get a pro shot. That's all I'm saying. I really need one. Okay? Please. Anyway. All right, guys. So that's our first episode. I'm excited to see what comes next. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be your little companion podcast wherever you go, trying to get work done. I'll be right there to be a little light, be a little heavy, and make you laugh and see what happens. So anyway, we will chit chat later, dolls. Oof, still so rusty. Anyway, bye.